Transportation, Senator from Scott.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to speak in favor of the bill.
Please proceed.
And really respond to the comments of my good friend, the senator from Jefferson 19. You know, it's sort of difficult for me to criticize someone for hyperbole. You know, that's sort of like the pot calling the kettle black. I like hyperbole. I think it's part of the political process. It's been a part of the process since we fought a war and won our independence from Great Britain. But the hyperbole in the senator from Jefferson 19's comments just a few minutes ago deserve response. First of all, I resent this denigration of this plan as a hostage-taking plan, because the agencies affected by this requested, helped develop, and endorsed this plan. I don't see any hostages. The president of Murray State University, a former member of the minority party leadership when he was a member of this body, drove up here from Callaway County yesterday to speak in favor of the bill. He wasn't forced to come here. So I think that the hostage rhetoric is a bit beyond the pale. And I wish that my good friend, the senator from Jefferson 19, would not use it. The continued reference to state employees in this bill is wrong. These employees are not state employees. They are employees of regional universities. They are employees of quasi-government agencies. They're not employees of government agencies. There's a reason we call it quasi. And by the way, I believe that is the proper pronunciation of the word quasi. But then again, I could be wrong about that, I'll admit it. And this issue that has arisen this week from members of the minority party, that this is an effort to collapse the entire pension system, is so far beyond the pale, it's not even believable. It's a red herring, a ruse, something to get the attention of groups not even affected by this bill and to attempt to fire them up here in the middle of the summer against this bill. That is a failed effort, Mr. President. The members of this body have been working on pension reform since 2007. Many of us have sponsored bills, some successful, some not, but we have made a commitment to saving these 8 pension systems, not just the one we're talking about today. There are 8 different systems administered by the state, and we have long made a commitment to saving them. Now, we can have differences of opinion on how we go about that effort to salvage the systems. I don't believe taxing, spending, borrowing, gambling, and smoking our way out of the problem is a legitimate solution. Some do. I respect that. We can have that debate. And while I do believe full funding is required, as a matter of fact, look at my bill, Senate Bill 2 from 2013, which passed in a bipartisan measure, supported and signed by then Governor Beshear. It requires the General Assembly to fully fund the KERS system, and we have done so every year since. Now, how does that translate into, we're trying to collapse the entire system? It's ridiculous, it's beyond the pale, and I think the minority party should quit using that kind of rhetoric and hyperbole when discussing House Bill 1. It's a red herring. Look it up in the dictionary. And then this final comment about a measly 401k. What a lack of respect shown to the members of the private sector whose tax dollars fund public pensions, who have 401ks, because there's no such thing as a defined benefit plan in the private sector anymore. So I completely object to the rhetoric and hyperbole of calling it a measly 401k. There are members in the private sector across this Commonwealth and across this country who try to save every paycheck by putting in their employee match, hoping they have an employer generous enough to match it. So to denigrate that kind of plan, I think is an insult to those in the private sector who fund public pensions, don't have a defined benefit plan, can't retire when they're 50. So I think it's appropriate to voice my support for House Bill 1, but also I feel to respond to my good friend who, and I'm not just saying that as rhetorical. The senator from Jefferson 19 and I are friends. I have a great deal of respect for him, and I appreciate his honesty and his adherence to his principles. We disagree on most of them, as is well noted. And he's a great father and a terrific husband, and he does a great job leading his party in this chamber. But I could not let those comments go not responded to today, Mr. President. I appreciate your indulgence, and I urge the members to vote aye on House Bill 1.